Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review movies, and today I watched the new film Ricky Stanicky. It's an R-rated comedy about three friends who invent a fake person to pin their pranks on. 20 years later, they're still using Ricky Stanicky to get out of trouble when it finally backfires on them. Hoping to maintain the lies they've told, the three friends hire an actor to play the ultimate part, the best friend they never had. The original story was written by David Okono and Jason Decker. It was then adapted into a screenplay by Jeffrey Bushell, Brian Jarvis, James Lee Freeman, Peter Farrelly, Pete Jones, and Mike Cerrone. Peter Farrelly directed the film, which stars Zac Efron, John Cena, and Andrew Santino. It's a raunchy comedy filled with dick and fart jokes, a plethora of adults behaving badly, and a lot of shock jock humor. It's all slotted into a basic emotional journey in which three adult men learn the consequences of lying all the time. The cast is made up of normal people, and the story follows Dean, Wes, and JT. Three friends from suburban America who grew up together and stay close as adults. The three of them work together on the Stanicky lie, and they love to joke around. The man they hire to play their friend Ricky is a performer going by the name Rock Hard Rod. When the three friends find him, he's at rock bottom, a raging alcoholic and on the run from dangerous-looking men. He makes dick joke parodies of songs for a living and mooches off other customers at bars. The visual journey follows the three men and Ricky as they go about their suburban middle-class lives. Along the way, there are a few visual gags, some basic conversations, and a lot of clean-looking sets. For music, you have the occasional original song that appears during transitions and montages to add a little bit of flavor to the atmosphere. They tend to be pop songs on the radio. Alright, now that you know what it is, let's talk about it. This film is a one-note joke that just keeps going and going and going. It puts the Energizer Bunny to shame. It starts with three unlikable children and then quickly escalates to three unlikable adults. We watch three grown men act like rebellious teenagers and lie to their families to get out of their responsibilities. They tell a plethora of dick jokes that you've probably heard 1,000 times before and stumble their way through every basic human interaction they have. Along the way, there are a few nice emotional beats, but they're completely unearned in terms of the storytelling, and often they just feel a little bit empty. The story also doesn't make any sense. It starts with a ridiculous premise and then just gets worse the longer it goes on. For example, it starts by telling us that these three guys have been lying for years about Ricky and never gotten caught. Then they're caught on the very first lie they tell in the film. They don't look like they've ever been good liars, and they can't even keep basic facts straight. The notion that these three morons could keep the Stanicky lie going for years is absolute nonsense. The idea that all these people around them just accepted it and never asked any questions is also completely absurd. The cast does what they can with the material, and there is the occasional funny joke because of it. There are a lot of offhand comments and big reactions. Most of the screen time goes to Zac Efron and John Cena, who both do a solid job of their performances. Zac Efron plays a somewhat traumatized adult who gets in over his head. He starts the lie to get out of trouble and keeps it going because he's afraid of the consequences. During his emotional journey, he learns the difference between right and wrong, and Efron does a good job of that transition from a frat boy to an adult ready to take some responsibility. John Cena is asked to play Rock Hard Rod, an absolute degenerate who cleans up his act to try and play the role of Ricky Stanicky. Cena is asked to do a lot of comedy as well as emotionally moving moments and does both sides of the role quite well. He creates one of the only redeemable characters in the film and manages to be charismatic even when he's being an insensitive asshole. The visual journey is well filmed and makes use of some great looking sets and costumes. We follow the crew around a few houses, an office building, and a few bars, and we watch them interact and goof off in each space. It's all well lit, there's a lot of clean camera work, and they did a good job of centering the emotions when they came up. There are also a couple of decent visual gags along the way, but nothing that stood out as special. Sound-wise, the film is empty aside from a few tracks during the montages and transitions. They kept the conversation silent and didn't support them at all, which allows the viewer to focus on the comedy, but it feels like a missed opportunity emotionally. The music they used was memorable, but they didn't use it effectively. It's not drawing out any big emotions or supporting the scenery in any meaningful way. Overall, Ricky Stanicky is the kind of film that you either love or hate. If you're into the humor, you'll laugh the whole way through, and if you're not, you'll wonder why anyone would tolerate any of these people. They're all obnoxious beyond belief. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 5 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye!